Hello, and thank you so much for joining me here on my channel. I'm going to be doing the Capricorn daily energy reading. As always, take what resonates, leave what does not, especially since this is a general reading. So we have what you may be struggling with, could be a Libra, but we also have the Justice card. We have the Nine of Cups, all right? Could be that you feel like your Nine of Cups is not happening for you. And then we have the Two of Swords. Conflict, that's the word that kind of came through there for me. I feel like one more. Four of Cups. You're not interested in something, that you're kind of given up. You've given up. You've given up hope on something. You've given up hope on your Nine of Cups. You're feeling like it's not going to happen. That you have this conflict. I feel like you have this conflict within yourself, and part of you is saying, yes, it's going to happen, right? That you're trying to push through with that positive energy, and a bigger part of you, I would say 75% just came through for me. 75% is saying, of course, that's why you're having struggling with it, is you're saying it's not going to happen, right? That your Nine of Cups isn't going to happen, and that you have this negativity towards yourself. And definitely I understand that when you try and try and try and you feel like it's just not happening, and you feel like you're not having the Nine of Cups. Sometimes the Nine of Cups that we get is different than the one that we're thinking. And I feel like that's kind of what's going on here, is that you have a Nine of Cups, but I feel like you're just looking for it in the wrong direction, that you're looking for it in the wrong way. And I feel like it's kind of like, I feel that if you really look, you'll see things that have happened in a positive way for you. But I feel like you're focusing on this one particular thing. And I feel that it's like you're focusing on it, on the Nine of Cups as representing something that you feel is for you, but I feel like you've had other things happen for you. I also feel like you have more work to do, definitely. If you're like 75% in the negative, I feel like there's something else that you need to work on. There's something else that you need to focus on. I definitely feel like you've lost interest. I feel like you're having this conflict. I feel like part of you wants to give up, and part of you, again, wants to keep going and doesn't want to give up. And definitely, I feel like you're kind of in that struggle bubble right now. That's kind of what I call it, is when I have those days where I feel like I'm in the struggle bubble, and it's just like, why should I even try? We all have those days. We all have those times. But it's like, when we have those times, it's like, how do we handle those times? So advice from the tarot is rise above the situation, right? And trying to get that support around you that you feel can help you through this situation. What is that support system? Again, which I've said before, what are those tools that you have that can help you when you're in your struggle bubble? What are those things that you need to do to help yourself through this situation? We have Six of Swords is moving forward, right? Even though I feel like moving forward, even though we still have some prickly times, right? And we're still having that struggle bubble around us, it's like, keep going, don't give up, right? And then we have that King of Pentacles, which I feel represents the King of Pentacles as somebody who is very patient, and he's very determined, and he doesn't give up. And I feel like he sees the light at the end of the tunnel, and he knows that light, that tunnel, is going to be challenging to get through, but he knows that on the other side there is that light, whatever that may represent, which I feel goes back to this Nine of Cups. So the advice from the tarot, I feel, is definitely, what are those things, those tools that you have that can help you through this situation, is to not give up, because this is showing you how strong that you are, right? This is showing you that when I face a challenge and things don't come out the way that I wanted them to, I'm still going to keep pushing forward. I'm still going to keep moving forward, even though it can be challenging. I feel like something comes to light. So this is what's coming in for you, is the Three of Swords, but I feel like something comes to light. I feel like I almost feel like, okay, this is kind of a weird analogy, but this is just what came to my mind, is that, you know how sometimes we'll get sometimes we'll get a sliver, right? But we'll just see a red spot. But then when we take a closer look, we're like, oh, there's a sliver in there, right? There's a piece of wood, there's a sliver. Somehow I got a sliver. And I feel like it's kind of I feel like this is exposing, right? Because you're saying, oh, my skin is all red and it's all irritated and it hurts. Like, why is that? And then you realize, oh, there's a sliver in there. So you get your tweezers and you pull it out, and then you put stuff on it, and then it goes away. And I feel like this is the sliver that you realize, whatever this may represent. And I almost feel like it's kind of, it may just be, I'm not sure. It could be something involved within yourself that you're kind of realizing that you have this negativity that you have to deal with, or this resentment, or this hurt, or this sadness, or it could be someone else, from someone else. And I feel like that's what's revealed to you is the reason why, right? The reason why you're struggling with this, right? The reason why is because of this. This is something that you haven't dealt with, okay? This Three of Swords. This is something that, maybe this is something that you have swept under the rug in the past, and you're like, I don't want to deal with it. I'm just stuffing it down. I'm stuffing it down. The thing is with those things is that eventually those things will bubble up to the surface. Eventually those things will kind of really start affecting our lives in a big way. I'm not a doctor or a therapist. I just know from personal experiences that I have shoved so much stuff under that rug. But over the years, it's come to the surface, it's bubbled up, I've worked through it. I'm still working through things. But I feel like I've gotten rid of the bulk of it, right? I feel like I've gotten rid of the bulk of what I've shoved under that so-called, rug. And I feel that for you, this is something that's going to bubble up for you. And this is something that, but I feel like this gives you strength and it gives you clarity, right? The Magician, my second favorite card, right? Even though this seems weird or it doesn't make sense, but this Three of Swords is going to empower you. This Three of Swords is right, because this is what's holding you back from your Nine of Cups, right? Are you self-sabotaging yourself? Are you self-sabotaging because of this, right? This is the reason why you are self-sabotaging, okay? When you're able to realize that and see that maybe your comfort zone is being in this Four of Cups where you don't care, where you want to give up, where you kind of set a goal for yourself and then you're just waiting for it to not happen so you can say, see, I told you, it doesn't work. Capricorns, always have to do it the hard way and nothing ever works for Capricorn. And, it's like kind of saying, oh, okay. But maybe that's your comfort zone and you're realizing, you know what, I'm holding on to this negativity so that I can keep myself in this comfort zone of nothing ever happens for me, right? And finding all of those reasons why things don't happen, right? All of the other reasons instead of, well, I had this that I was holding on to, right? Sometimes we have to take that hard look at ourselves and say, you know what, I've been holding on to this, that I've swept it under the rug. I was trying to ignore it. I didn't want to deal with it. And it's slowly been eating away at me. It's been keeping me in a negative space. And now it's time for me to deal with that. And now it's time for that to come to the surface and to face it and to deal with it. And when you do, we have the Magician here, right? And that is about self-empowerment, right? Finding that strength within yourself and empowering yourself. Getting rid of those things that drain you, which is that Three of Swords. And that lifts up your power within yourself. Five of Swords, not letting what anyone else has to say bother you or affect you. Yeah, it's still going to affect you and bother you, but you're still going to stay on your path, right? And I love how this person has the sword up in the air, and I feel like that's self-empowerment. I feel like that is that I'm going to self-empower myself. I'm going to look at what am I holding on to, right? Why am I in this negative frame of mind? What do you keep telling yourself in a negative way, right? What are those words that you keep saying to yourself that is holding you back, that you are keeping yourself in this negative frame of mind? Is everything always rainbows and unicorns? No. There are times that are challenging, but if we can have more days that are rainbows and unicorns, right? Or it doesn't even have to be that drastic. It can just be like, you know what, I feel good today. You know, I don't feel giddy and excited. It's not rainbows and unicorns, but it's just a good day today, right? Just having a good day. Like, that's a good goal to work towards, right? Just saying, like, I feel good today. I feel okay today. I don't have worry. I don't have anxiety. I don't have stress. Or if I do, I have very little, right? And it's working towards that. And that's, you know, having more days like that. That's definitely a positive thing. Let's grab advice from the animal oracle here. And we have koi fish spirit. There's always enough. Maybe you're feeling like your time has passed. Maybe you're feeling like, well, there's not enough money for me, or there's not enough 9 of cups for me, or there's not enough opportunities for me, right? There's not enough time for me. That may be something that you need to work on. So I feel like with this card coming out is I feel like maybe you feel like there's not enough. Maybe you're feeling like there's not enough love for you. That's what you need to focus on and say, yeah, there is enough. There's enough money for me. There is enough success for me. There is enough love for me. There is enough opportunities for me, right? Putting yourself in that frame of mind is that there is enough. There is enough. Right? And I'm ready to grab my part. I'm ready to grab my piece of the pie. I'm ready to have things happen for me. There may be some things that I have to work on. There may be some things that I need to let go of, right? It's changing that frame of mind and letting go of what does not serve you and start focusing on, yeah, there's enough. Definitely there's enough time. There's always enough time. I was cutting hair yesterday, and this gentleman, he actually owns the barn that I'm keeping my horse at. And I think he's 81. And he's having some rough times. He was a very successful businessman. And he can be a little rough around the edges. And he had said something to me yesterday, and so we had I go to the barn, and so I was cutting his hair in the garage, and then it was open garage, so he was looking out onto the goats. But he said the cement on the pavement was bothering his eyes. He's like, you know, can we move the chair? And I said, yeah. So we moved the chair over to, you know, this walkway. And so he was looking at his birds. He's like, now I can look at my birds. And I said, okay. And he said, you're very accommodating. And I said, yeah. I said, I am. And he said, have you always been that way? And I said, yes. And he said, I wish I could be more accommodating. And I said, you can. And he's like, do you really think that there's time for that? And I said, yes. There's always time for that. And he just kind of sat there, and he was just kind of quiet, and I feel like he was thinking about it. And I believe that. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. It doesn't matter what you've gone through. And he saw a quality in me that he appreciated and that he wished he had within himself. And it's like there's always time to change. There's always time that if there's something that you want to have happen, this 9 of Cups, right? So that could just represent maybe a personality trait or something that you would rather have, right? He said that he wished he could be more accommodating. And it's okay, so you say, okay, that's what you want to do, be more accommodating. So then when situations come up, think about that and say, I want to be more accommodating for other people. And think about it before you take action to do something, right? So it's being aware of, I want to be more accommodating. So I'm going to, when someone asks me to do something, I'm not just going to say no, right? I'm going to say, okay, well, maybe I can compromise on that, right? Or maybe let's do it this way, right? And being more aware of how you're reacting to something. So I always feel that there is always enough. There's always enough time to make changes, right? It doesn't matter how young or old you are or what your situation is there's always enough. There's always time to make changes. You have to figure out what are those changes that you want to have happen. And then to take the actions to make them happen. If you have this 9 of Cups, right, that you want to make something happen, what do you need to do to make that happen, right? If it's something materialistic that you want to have, Are you putting money aside? Are you budgeting for that, right? That are you maybe cutting out things in a different area in order to make this happen, right? If it's that amazing relationship that you want to have, are you working on yourself to not repeat patterns from the past? Are you going to be open, right, with that heart chakra to say, okay, I'm going to give this an opportunity. I'm going to give it a chance, right? That I'm going to think about things, and I'm going to, maybe it's time to recognize patterns that you've had. You know, are you choosing people that are emotionally unavailable? Is that what made you feel comfortable? Maybe it's choosing somebody that's altogether different. Maybe it's communicating more. Maybe you have too many walls up when you start a relationship and you're like, okay, you have to prove to me first that you're worth my time, right? But it's like, okay, I'm going to be vulnerable, right? I'm going to communicate. I'm going to talk to that person, right? It's like, okay, figuring out those things that if you want this Nine of Cups, what do you have to do within yourself to put yourself in that, right? So that if you're working on yourself, so that when that soulmate, when that person comes along, that you know that you've worked on and you're catching yourself maybe trying to go back to old ways, or maybe you're in a relationship and you're like, okay, I'm just waiting for this person to cheat on me or to hurt me or to bother me or to say something negative to me, right? We're all human. Those things are going to happen, but it's being more aware of, okay, if this person does something to bother me, let me have that conversation with that person and say, you know, that really bothered me when you did that, or why did you do that, or have that conversation, open up those doors, not blaming, but having a conversation, right? And being able to have that communication so you can figure things out. And what are those things that you can do to help that Nine of Cups happen? What are those things? Is it just your mental state and saying, yeah, there's always enough Nine of Cups, you know, and I can have more than one Nine of Cups. I can have one, and then I can have another and another, and my whole life can be Nine of Cups, right? It's the frame of mind and how you're looking at it. It's letting go of this to empower yourself with this. All right, so we have our Star Dragons card. We have wisdom, asking questions. Ask those questions like I was just saying, right? What are those questions that you need to ask? What does your Nine of Cups represent? What can you do to help make that happen, to help that to come to fruition? You have to take actions to make those things happen. You can't say, well, I want $1 million and then just sit on the couch and not do anything. Okay, if you want $1 million, what are those things that you need to start doing to make that happen? Do you start your own business, right? Because most likely working for someone else, it's not going to happen unless you have a very high paying job. And if you don't have that, okay, so starting your own business, starting your own social media, like what is that you can do to start making that $1 million happen, right? Is it going back to school or learning some skills or taking some classes, or, you know, surrounding yourself with people that are already millionaires, and what is it that they do? What are their habits, right? Picking up some of those habits, doing some of those things where other people give up, then you go in and you try harder, right? That you do it better than the best person that's there, right? That you make that effort, right? It's just figuring things out, getting that information, asking those questions. All right, so we have triggers with the whispers of healing. Triggers. I feel like that can represent, what are those negative triggers, right? Removing yourself from those negative triggers and surrounding yourself with those positive triggers, right? Those things that help you feel motivated, those things that help you to push forward, to push through, right? To rise above the situation and push through those times that you feel that you're struggling, right? What are those tools that you have that can help you to push through those triggers? Doesn't have to be a negative one. Recognizing a negative one, like I said, if you're going after your Nine of Cups and you're having a day where all of a sudden it's not working the way that you want it to, and you've triggered yourself, something has triggered you, and you're immediately going to the negative, you say, wait a minute, okay, I got to stop this negative talk. Okay, I just got triggered in some way. Ask those questions to figure out what triggered you, and if you can't figure out, it's okay, but you're saying, okay, I'm going to trigger myself in a positive way, right? What are those things that I have for myself that I can trigger myself in a positive way? All right, let's grab a Psychic Tarot. We have light, number 19, and that is the Sun card, right? That light, that shining light, giving yourself that hope, shining that light, positivity, right? The Sun card is a very positive card. It's positive energy, and it's suggesting that you need more positive energy. I feel like you're kind of stuck in the negative. Again, because of that Three of Swords. What is that Three of Swords that has been created that is putting you in this negative frame of mind? What is that triggered you? What is it that happened? Facing that, looking at, shining a light on it and saying, how can I change that? All right, we have blessed. All right, you are blessed. And if you immediately go to no and say, no, I'm not, okay, you just got triggered, right? That's this, okay? You are blessed. You are. Believe it, right? Embrace it. You have so many, again, the advice is get yourself in that energy of saying, I am blessed. I have so many positive things, right? Gratitude, that's what I have right here, is my little gratitude little stone here. It's not really a stone, but I keep it right there, and I say throughout the day, what are those things that I am grateful for? Even on days that I'm struggling, as I try and turn that around and say, what am I grateful for? You are blessed. You have things in your positive column. Those are the things that you need to look at. Those are the things you need to focus on. Those are the things that you need to help you, right? To let go of the Three of Swords and to empower yourself and to push yourself forward. Triggering yourself in a positive way, and that focusing on all of the things that you have in your plus column. I just feel like sometimes it's so easy just to look at all of the things that are, I just feel like humans just go so quickly to the negativity. And I feel like, but we have the power and the strength to turn that around and to change it to the positivity. All right, so I pulled a crystal card for you, and I like this one because it looks like pink grapefruit, and I like pink grapefruit. We have, this is rhodochrosite. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. It's relationships, healing, and karmic lessons. Perfect. So I feel like this may be what this is a karmic lesson, something that you have been repeating, and it's time for you to break that cycle. Reminding you of your worth and capacity for self-love, a healer of relationships. It opens the heart for healthy communication and breakthroughs. That's what I was just saying, that if you're looking for that partner or you're trying to work on your relationship, are you willing to have that heart chakra open, right? And have that healthy communication. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. And breakthroughs, definitely. This is a breakthrough here, this Three of Swords. This is a breakthrough for you. I also feel like feeling blessed for this Three of Swords that is giving you this breakthrough, right? It can attract soulmates into your life. That's what I was talking about over here, is soulmates, right? If you're looking for that person, attracting that soulmate in. But is there something, there's definitely something you have to work on here with this Three of Swords first. In order to attract that person, you have to be ready to receive that person. And I feel like you're not. I feel like there are things that you have to work on. And it's not about being frustrated with that and saying, oh no, how long is this, right? That's automatically going into the negative, right? It's like, okay, yeah, I want to work on myself. I want to be in the best place to receive that soulmate, to be able to recognize that soulmate instead of recognizing that same person that I kept picking, right? That I figure is my type, but it's not your type, because if it was your type, then you wouldn't keep going in that circle and that pattern, right? That your soulmate type is different from this pattern that you've been creating over here. Building connection that often feel karmic or fated. Every lesson is for your highest good. And with that perspective, know that whatever is happening for you, not to you, right? Again, that's about perspective, that this is happening for you. for you to see this Three of Swords and to recognize it and to work on it, right? That whether or not you want to agree with that, whether or not you want to see that's something that you have to work on, right? Sometimes we don't like hearing that. We're like, no, I don't want to do any more work. I just want to be in that soulmate relationship. I just want everything to be perfect, right? But it's okay. Yeah, you know what? I do need to work on some stuff. I am angry about this or that, or I never got past that, or I have resentment, or I need to work on this, right? I need to open up my heart chakra. I need to be willing to let someone in my life. Again, whatever is happening for you, not to you. It encourages you to express your feelings and reinforces that it is safe to share who you truly are. And that's the biggest thing, is that I feel that we have to be more aware of who it is that we are surrounding ourselves with, so that it feels safe for us to share who we truly are. And definitely, like, being on camera is something that is very scary. It's like, do you want to share, right? I think that's why I was so hesitant, is that did I want to share who I was? Do I want to tell my stories? Do I want to put myself out there and be vulnerable to the audience of YouTube or the internet, right? And that's a scary thing. And I think that's a reason why a lot of people do hesitate about creating a YouTube channel, is because they're scared to put themselves out there, because they're setting, you're being vulnerable to that audience and to those people. Especially like being an actor or a singer. Anytime you put yourself out in the public, I'm a cashier again. So again, I'm vulnerable to those. But I feel like that is something that I need for me. And I do push myself to do that, because for me, it is rewarding. I do feel that I gain a lot of rewards because of myself, pushing myself, because I feel like that fills something within myself. And I feel that again, surrounding yourself with those people that you feel safe to be able to express yourself, and express your feelings, and be able to communicate to those people, and be able to say, you know what, that if there's something that is bothering you, that you feel safe enough to be able to have those conversations. And if you don't feel safe enough to have those conversations with those people, then maybe that's something that you need to look at. Maybe that's something that you need, maybe that triggers you, right? Maybe you have to set up some boundaries, right? Maybe you need to change those things. And maybe it's time to make some big changes. This could be a big change for you, right? Being able, and it's almost like saying, I'm thankful for this Three of Swords, because this has brought to light something very important to me, right? This Three of Swords has brought to light what I have been struggling with and what I need to work on. And I am blessed for this to have happened, right? It's all about perspective and how you look at it. All right, I could go on forever, but I won't, just because I get so passionate about it and so excited about it. So, all right, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I feel like this is a big eye-opener, and I wish you the best on your journey. As always, stay positive, stay safe, and I will see you next time.